The ocean doesn't forgive, it only forgets after it takes everything. Beneath the surface of calm blue lies a graveyard of ships, dreams, and human ambition. Every wreck tells the same chilling story: pride meets power, and the sea reminds us who's really in charge. From majestic liners to forgotten merchant vessels, these shipwrecks are not just accidents, they're warnings written in salt water and steel. The deeper you go, the darker the truth becomes. Try this. The next time you stand on a beach and stare at the horizon, remember, somewhere beyond that line, a ship once vanished without a sound. And when people talk about tragedy at sea, one name still echoes louder than any wave: the Titanic. The RMS Titanic wasn't just a ship, it was a statement. In 1912, it was the largest moving object ever built, a floating city powered by confidence and luxury. People called it unsinkable. That single word sealed its fate. On April 14th, as it glided through the icy Atlantic night, it struck an iceberg that scraped open its side like a tin can. Within hours, the ocean began claiming what man had called perfect. Passengers, many in evening dress, gathered on deck, laughing, at first certain the crew would fix it. But as the angle of the ship grew steeper, the laughter turned to prayer. Only 20 lifeboats for over 2,200 people. The rest were left to cling to the freezing black water. Survivors later recalled the orchestra playing until the end, "Nearer, my God, to thee," a melody of calm as chaos bloomed around them. More than 1,500 people died that night. The world was stunned. The Titanic's loss reshaped maritime law forever. Mandatory lifeboats, round-the-clock radio monitoring, and iceberg patrols. But beneath the policy shifts lay a deeper truth. Arrogance built that ship, and humility came too late. Try this. When you hear someone call anything foolproof, remember, the Titanic was built by experts too. But not all disasters fade into history books. Some burn bright in living memory, like the tragedy of the MV Donia Paz. It was December 987 inches, the Philippines, and the ferry Donia Paz was packed, overcrowded, underprepared, and sailing at night through busy waters. At around 10 p.m., it collided with an oil tanker, the MT Vector, which was carrying over 1 million liters of gasoline. The explosion lit up the sea like a second Sunday. Within minutes, the ferry was engulfed in flames. People jumped into the water to escape the inferno, only to find themselves surrounded by fire on the surface. The chaos was unimaginable, thousands screaming, others praying, some silent, accepting. When rescuers arrived hours later, almost everyone was gone. Officially, over 4,300 people died. Unofficially, likely more. The Donia Paz remains the deadliest peacetime maritime disaster in human history. The cause? Overcrowding, negligence, and a disregard for safety that had become normal. Try this. Whenever you hear, "We've always done it this way," ask how many times has always been one step away from disaster. Some tragedies unfold in moments. Others drag on for days and become nightmares that history never shakes off. The USS Indianapolis, 1945. Its mission was so secret that even the crew didn't know what they were carrying. Parts of the atomic bomb later dropped on Hiroshima. After completing its delivery, the ship sailed across the Pacific, no escort, no detection systems. Then, in the middle of the night, 2 Japanese torpedoes struck. The Indianapolis sank in just 12 minutes. Around 900 sailors made it into the water. But for the next 4 days, no one came. There was no distress call received, no search initiated. And as the men floated in the sweltering sun, another horror arrived: sharks. Survivors described the water turning red, the sound of thrashing, the prayers that faded into silence. Many went mad from dehydration or despair. When rescue planes finally stumbled upon them by chance, only 316 were alive. The rest had vanished beneath waves that had long since gone still again. The USS Indianapolis wasn't just a shipwreck, it was a slow-motion horror story that revealed how secrecy and miscommunication can be as deadly as any torpedo. Try this. When you think you're suffering in silence, speak, because sometimes no one knows you're sinking. Not all wrecks lie in history's distant past. Some remind us that technology doesn't eliminate human error, it just makes it look fancier. The Costa Concordia, 2012. A floating luxury resort, gliding off the coast of Italy. On a clear January night, Captain Francesco Schettino decided to perform a sail-by salute, steering close to shore to impress locals. The ship struck a rock and began taking on water immediately. Within minutes, the cruise liner started to tilt. The lights flickered, and thousands of passengers were thrown into chaos. Panic set in as lifeboats jammed and crew members gave conflicting instructions. The captain, in a moment that became infamous, abandoned ship while passengers were still trapped aboard. The final image, a billion-dollar vessel lying on its side like a wounded whale, became a symbol of modern arrogance. 32 people died. Countless others never boarded another cruise again. Try this. Next time someone in charge tells you, "Don't worry, I've done this before." Remember, so had that captain. But perhaps the darkest story of all happened centuries earlier, not because of what sank, but because of what surfaced afterward. In 1629, the Dutch East India Company's flagship, the Batavia, was en route to Indonesia when it struck a reef off the coast of Australia. The wreck itself was brutal, hundreds thrown into the water, supplies scattered, survivors crawling onto barren islands. But what came next was worse. With no rescue in sight, the survivors split into factions. One man, Jeronimus Cornelis, seized control, turning the group into his personal colony. Over the next few weeks, he ordered mass executions, killing anyone who opposed him. Women were taken as property. Men were slaughtered for defiance or food. When rescuers finally arrived, they found a nightmare, survivors half-mad, corpses piled in the sand, and the ocean quietly erasing evidence of humanity's breakdown. The Batavia's wreck was rediscovered centuries later, its story preserved in chilling detail. It's a reminder that the ocean isn't our enemy, isolation is. The water strips away the rules of civilization, leaving only what we truly are when no one's watching. Try this. When things fall apart, notice who stays kind. That's your real crew. Every shipwreck, from the Titanic to the Batavia, carries a lesson in humility. Some sank from arrogance, others from error, others from fate. But they all share one truth. The sea doesn't discriminate. It takes kings and captains the same way it takes sailors and passengers. Yet out of every tragedy, humanity learns. Stronger hulls, better navigation, stricter laws, progress built on loss. Beneath the waves lie stories of failure, but above them sail the results. Safer voyages, smarter crews, and a little more respect for what lies beneath. The next time you hear the ocean, listen closely. The sound of the waves isn't just peaceful, it's a chorus of voices reminding us that control is an illusion and survival is borrowed time. If you love stories that explore the edge between human ambition and nature's revenge, hit follow because the next journey takes us deeper into the unknown.